All right. All right, we are going to get started. Good morning, everybody. You know, somebody has said that there's pretty much a prayer for everything in the Book of Common Prayer. There's actually a prayer for a church convention or meeting on page 818 of the Book of Common Prayer. And so I'm going to open with that prayer. The Lord be with you. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel at the St. Stephen's annual meeting for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. It's a delight to welcome y'all here. Yes? Okay. Is that better? Sky will get it adjusted. It's a gift to welcome y'all here. In the 51st year of St. Stephen's, and it's like kind of amazing to look back. We're going to start. I want to invite John Freeman, our senior warden. You ready? Yes. To give your opening remarks. Yeah. And the first one will be the ministry map. Second will be the staff. Just hit right. Yep. Yep.
Hey, good morning. My name is John Freeman.
Stand with you the whole time. So
Okay. Thank you. All right. Good morning. My name is John Freeman, and it has been my privilege to serve as the senior warden for 2024. I joined the Vestry in 2022, along with Connie Hancock, Cindy McCain, Emily Wallachuk, and when we expanded the Vestry to 15 last year, Peter Inge joined our group. And fortunately, I was in a class with four very bright and talented people, and it's been great working with them. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm going to miss seeing them along with everyone else on the third Tuesday of every month. My wife, Carolyn, and our young son at the time, John, joined St. Stephen's in 2001. Reed came along in 2002 and Madeline in 2006. They kept us busy with youth activities. The Christmas pageant was always fun, but I say I enjoy it now because I don't worry about one of my kids messing things up for Whitney. And as I was talking with Scott just a minute ago, we don't want to be on Whitney's bad side. But I got to help teach high school Sunday school for a while and to coach the boys' church league basketball team. I did that for 5 or 6 years. And that was a lot of fun. And I said the best part of coaching was watching the guys have a fun time with each other. While we didn't win any championships, and we did win more games every year, the girls had better coaching and they had some championships. But I said no team for the boys had a better time being around each other than our guys. And it was always fun to watch them after a game. As soon as the game was over, it didn't matter whether we won or lost. They were hanging out with each other. And I said, I think that is a testament to what St. Stephen's is about, and that, that camaraderie. And even though I'd been a member for 20 years when I joined the Vestry, I quickly realized I didn't know that much about all the things that go on around here. It has been a really humbling experience each month at the Vestry meetings to hear about all the activities that our parish members do. Up here is our ministry map. Each month for Vestry, so there's 14 parts of the ministry map. There's 15 Vestry members. The senior warden is a lucky guy. He doesn't have to fill out the report. But everybody fills out what's going on for their area of responsibility. And it's amazing each month to read about everything that goes on at St. Stephen's. I said sometimes, particularly when you're younger, you're focused on the kids and you only kind of see that. But it is truly amazing what our parish, what all of y'all accomplish every month during the year. And I would like to say, if you see something up there that's of interest to you, please reach out to one of the Vestry members or to one of the clergy to get involved. Everybody would love to have everyone involved with something with the church. For me as senior warden, I wanted 2024 to be about calmness. Our church had been through a lot for the past few years, both good and bad. And knowing that John was on his 7 years, he had earned a well-earned sabbatical. And I wanted to make sure that when he took his time off, he didn't have to worry about us and was able to enjoy his months away from us. And I would like to give a big shout out to Catherine Harper, because Catherine stepped up and she did a fantastic job for us while John was out. And she'd made my job a lot easier. I said nationally, it's interesting, the Episcopal Church, along with other churches, over the last decade have been experiencing declining membership and enrollment. But during that time, St. Stephen's has bucked the trend, and we have had continued growth. I said when we joined St. Stephen's, I thought it was a small Episcopal church. I didn't grow up Episcopal, so I didn't have a framework, but, it was in 2001. We didn't have the parish hall. They had not yet started work on Carpenter Hall, which was completed in 2002. And so that had always just stuck with me. I just thought St. Stephen's is a small Episcopal church. It was after I joined the Vestry that I learned that we're a pretty large Episcopal church. We're the third largest in our diocese. And so we're a big church. And so in May, to help better serve our parishioners, we hired Sally Herring as our outreach and pastoral care to be responsible for that area for us. And she has done a fantastic job and has been a great addition for the church. One big thing in 2024 that we have worked on, kind of as a vestry at a high level, has been, and John had been thinking about this for a couple of years, has been, what can we do with St. John's? I mean, it's a great location. It's a great building. What can we do for the church? What can we do for the community? And that's where Mary B. and her team has taken our ideas and thoughts about what we could do with it and has turned it into the Threshold Center. And you'll be hearing more about this in a few minutes, but this is going to be an exciting project in the years to come, not only for St. Stephen's, but for our local community as well as nationally. So in closing, I would like to give thanks to our lay staff, I said, for their dedication to St. Stephen's. We are very blessed to have them, as they do a fantastic job during the week for us to show up on Sundays and everything looks perfect, as well as during the week, because there is so much that goes on at St. Stephen's every day, and we're very blessed to have them. And then I would like to wish our remaining vestry and new vestry members good luck in 2025. Our church is blessed to have great people involved, and I know they're going to do a great job. And then, in finally closing, I would like to thank our clergy team with John and Catherine and Sally and Mary B. and Malcolm. Y'all are the best. And, you know, it's been a pleasure working with John this year directly. I told him I wasn't sure if he was really going to enjoy it, but he did get vacation, so he didn't have to be with me all year. But we are truly best. Y'all are the best, and thank y'all for what y'all do for us and at St. Stephen's every day. Thank you.
I'm now realizing that my order and flow is not logical. We're going to talk about the budget later. Russ couldn't be with us today. He was invited to go out of town with a friend. But on last Monday night, we had our annual Finance Committee meeting. And I hope y'all saw this article in the magazine that just wanted this meeting especially to recognize Russ Vandeveld's 25 years of stewarding St. Stephen's. It is absolutely remarkable. At one point after he retired from IBM, he went to Jeff State to get his HVAC license, and he has helped the HVAC facilities running. I mean, he still sets the thermostats. I think he audits. I mean, the way that he has shepherded this parish is remarkable, and so it's just a point to highlight his incredible ministry. Jeff Keir is going to be our new treasurer. You don't have to do 25 years, but Jeff's been on the Finance Committee for over a decade, I think, so we're in good hands and grateful for your willingness to lead and serve in this way. I also want to recognize the 5 Vestry members who are rolling off, who've completed their term. We have something that we're going to give to you tomorrow night when we gather for our Vestry, but want y'all to stand up if you're here. Peter and Connie, I know, John, Emily, and Cindy. If we just give, I think it's worthy. And what we have, we've done this for the last few years. We have prayer book hymnals for each of you. The reason is I expect you to come to church. You don't get to take a sabbatical when you roll off from Vestry. So we have a hymnal prayer book, so you can bring it and show it off, and you can join it. Jimmy still brings his and you're here, so this is good. It's a good sign. We do have business. The way that we've moved the last 3 years is a trend of a lot of churches. We invite the whole congregation to submit names to the nominating committee, which is the outgoing vestry. And then they look and they reach out to see if people are interested. This year, there were people from the congregation that submitted names. It wasn't just the nominating committee. And then if there were, depending, if there were a lot of names come in, we'll have election. If there's 5, to suggest a consent agenda, but there has to be room for nominations from the floor. So this is a business meeting. Are there any nominations from the floor for additional people to be on the vestry? I would encourage someone to move that we close nominations.
I move that we accept the nominations from the state.
Okay, so we have, I guess, Janet's moved that we, and it's been seconded. All in favor of accepting this as our vestry? Aye. It sounds like a unanimous vote. Welcome our newest class of vestry, Leslie, Laurel, Rob, Martha, and Scott. Would you all stand if you're in the room? Good. So all of your hopes and ambitions for St. Stephen's pilot on these 5. And I want to say one of the other things that y'all can sit down. Thank y'all for being willing to serve. One of the other ideas we've moved the last 3 years of giving hymnals and prayer books is I'd love the day that everybody brings their own hymnal to church. So if you have not served on the vestry and you're interested, I encourage you to talk and prayerfully consider over the next couple of years. It's something that probably most people should do at one time in their life to serve on the vestry. We do invite John, if you'll come kind of forward. The nominating committee nominated 3 names for people to represent St. Stephen's at our diocesan convention. That is a 3-year nomination, so you serve for 3 years. We have 8 lay delegates that we get to have. We have 6 people that are in years 2 and 3, which means that we have to have an election. The 2 people receiving the top 2 votes will be delegates, and the person that receives the 3rd vote will be our alternate. And this is one of those cases where there's going to be a few more convention meetings, possibly in these 3 years. Many of y'all may have seen the announcement that there will. The bishop is calling for an election of a new bishop. We don't. That timeline has not been announced, but it will be in the next 3 years. So we need an alternate. It's important to have an alternate. So we need to have an election. So the names are Kim Glover, Connie Hancock, and Mary Yancey, and their bios were sent out in email. I know that Kim and Connie are here if y'all want to stand up, and Mary is under the weather. Just so y'all know who is on that list. And I'm going to invite you to go ahead and just take a moment to fill that out. And then if you will pass your ballots to, or hand them to one of the ushers. Pens are, Sally, the pens. Okay, pens are going around too. Okay. They gave the wrong ballots. It's okay. You have the one that you had. No.
This is Vestry.
That's Vestry. That's the diocesan delegation right there.
It says please select 3 candidates.
Okay. It's the wrong instructions are please select 2 candidates. 2. Here.
I need more.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yep. Please select 2. Please select 2. And then pass them, yeah. We had to have Vestry ballots too, just in case there was a nomination from the floor. Pens are going around. Yep. Okay. Please select 2, and then you hand that to one of the vestry members or people collecting. And then I'm going to send John Freeman off to count with one other vestry member. Yeah. Has everybody filled out a ballot? All right. I'm going to invite the Reverend Catherine Harper forward to give her report.
Thank you.
Sally, you're on deck, and then Mary.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Harper. I've seen most of you a few times. I'm glad to be here today. I'm the Associate Rector for Formation and Worship. I keep forgetting what my new title is. So worship is bustling and beautiful here. If you were here at the 9 o'clock service, if you've been here over the last few weeks, if you've even poked your head into the nave before you came this way to see all the children who are practicing for the Nativity pageant, it's a place where all people are welcome and called and invited to be with God for just a moment, even if it's hard to be with God. So we want people to feel God's welcome, and in order to do that, we need your hands and your prayers to make it happen, because you are the ones who pass out bulletins, you welcome people at our entrances, you carry the chalice and administer the blood of Christ and the cup of salvation to those who are in the pews and to those who are homebound. You lift your voice in singing, you read our prayers. So thank you, because you make our corporate worship what it is. We can't do it without you. You may have heard the clergy say this before. We can't celebrate Eucharist just alone. We have to have one other person with us. So we don't do worship in isolation. We can do morning prayer in isolation, but we don't. We have lots of helping hands. And so this is a slide of all of the ways that people have contributed their hands. These are not, for the most part, clergy numbers. These are lay volunteer numbers. We have 144 Sunday Eucharists in 2024. We have live streamed morning prayer 253 times in this year. Thank you to those who live streamed. Tom Robertshaw is one of those. Fiona, am I missing you? So thank you. If you ever want to get your hands dirty and do something fun and live stream worship with us, we can train you. We'd love to have your helping hands and voice, because there are some of those who pray every day on Facebook. We have lots of different ways that you can plug in. If you are not doing something helping in worship and you want to, we have a space for you that's as simple as smiling at someone and saying hello. Or if you don't like to smile, that's okay too. We need acolyte masters to boss acolytes around. There are lots of ways that we can plug you in. So ask Gretchen Lerner, ask me, ask other clergy. We want to have your hands in worship, because this is public corporate participation, and your hands and voice and your prayers matter. I want to highlight that we have begun live streaming our Celtic service as well on Sunday evenings at 5 o'clock. So we really actually need some more help with our technical folks who do live streaming, and they are phenomenal, and they are generous, and they also are not professionals generally, and they are trained and do a great job. So thanks to all of you. This is just a fun little slide that shares all the ways that worship is supported. So we have behind-the-scenes aspects of worship as well, with Flower Guild and Altar Guild. So when you see the greenery behind the altar, that is cut fresh for every Sunday. Last Sunday, somebody said, "Ooh, can I have that? Because I want to put it on my mailbox." Somebody else had already claimed it. So there are fringe benefits to that, and one of those fringe benefits is building deep and abiding relationships grounded in the love of Jesus. And so that's what keeps us fed and nourished and prayed for. So thanks for what you do to support all of that. And the choir, wow, the choir, thank you for what you do. Whether you pray for the choir or you sing in the choir, what beautiful work happens that invites all people into this space. All right, and then formation. So formation was transitioned to me this year in May as Sally came on. Pastoral care went into her bucket of responsibility, and I took on coordination of formation, definitely with the help of God and others. Families kind of fall up under me, but really that's, it's all of these ways where we're invited to deeper faith in God through Holy Scripture, through study of tradition, and sharing our lives together in the ways that we are paying attention to life. One of the additions to our formation offerings this year has been also through the help of people. So Kathleen Franklin was hired to do parish life coordination. So that's part of putting together fun events, but also thinking about what is the purpose behind this event? Why are we gathering people? What is the formation aspect of this? To deeply know and love Jesus, to have fun in the parking lot for trunk or treat, right? So lots of different ways to engage people who come here normally and who live in our area. So we have formation events almost every day of the week. Bible studies, book studies, small groups for different age groups and interests, and new ones coming out in the year ahead. I have pretzels. Does anybody know why I have pretzels on the screen for faith formation for children? Scott and Nan Shelley help with our children's formation, and when the kids go to the kitchen, it's one of their favorite times, and they bake pretzels together. So Scott and Nan, if you're curious, ask the kids how they know Scott and Nan, and they'll talk to you about pretzels. All right, and looking ahead, I already spoke about this a little bit. One more thing, the pilgrimage that's going to happen for youth in 2025 is scheduled for the end of June, 1st of July. That will be an opportunity for faith formation for young people and for people who are here. So we're going to reach out and ask for prayer partners on our journey because we all need a little bit of prayer. God can form us and those who are traveling through that time. So thank you for all that you do to support the beauty of the work here. There also will be a habitat build, and Sally may speak to that more, but all the things we do can form us in our faith, can inform our lives. So thank you for your prayers and support, and I'll pass it on to Sally.
Good morning. I'm going to try to hook this thing on me because I talk with my hands, and this mic would be flying all over the place. I think I have met most of you. My name's Sally Herring. I was hired May the 1st, about 10 days before John left on sabbatical. And I am the Associate Rector for Pastoral Care and Outreach. I inherited those two programs from people who had put together some amazing ministries. They are lay-led ministries for the most part. So as you're sitting here listening, be thinking of how you might be interested in getting plugged in. In addition to myself, I have Gretchen Lerner, who works with me, who helps to coordinate everything that pastoral care does. I couldn't do it and would not want to do it without her. What you see on the screen are seven of the ways that we reach out to individuals in our congregation and in the community. We do things as far as pastoral care, not just for our members, but for families and friends as well. The prayer list. So if you ask to be placed on the prayer list, or if a family member asks to have somebody put on a prayer list, you go on our prayer list and you stay on it, and somebody prays for you. Simply prayer. All they do is meet each week and pray over every single name that's on that list. The Card Guild. We have artists in our community who make the most gorgeous handmade cards. Those cards also have an appropriate prayer on them, and they are sent out to people who are recuperating, who are going through a hard time, just whatever the need might be. Those go all over the world, too. I've had people write me a thank you note saying, I had no idea that somebody from your congregation was praying for me. Thank you so much. Meals delivered. So Verna Orr, she organizes this. If somebody is recovering from an illness, they've had a hard time and they just need a little help, she delivers meals to people. Flowers. So our flower apostles make these gorgeous little bitty arrangements out of the altar flowers. Of course, during Advent, we don't have flowers, so we haven't been doing it. But typically, we send those out on Monday or Tuesday each week. Somebody puts them together, and then somebody else delivers them. The bracelets and the Anglican rosaries. We have a beading group. There are several women who get together ever so often and make these gorgeous beaded bracelets and Anglican rosaries. The clergy take them to people. Every so often, somebody will come to me and say, I'm going to visit a sick friend. Can I take one with me? And so those go out into the community. And then the knitting group, they have so much fun. They meet on Thursday afternoons, something like around 1 o'clock, and my office is right across from where they meet. And I can hear them laughing the entire time. They have a blast. But they make baby blankets, they make prayer shawls. This past couple of weeks ago, somebody brought in, I think, may have been Laura, brought in some hats that had been made, some little beanies for people. So we make all kinds of things, and these go out into the community. Next slide. Outreach. So there's only these 3 areas that are listed, but it's because there is so much going on in outreach, I didn't want to try to hit on everything. The Avondale Breakfast Ministry, that's a group of people that every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. go to Avondale, and they deliver a hot breakfast. Usually around 35 or 40 hot breakfasts go out. Tracy in our kitchen makes those, and those go out to people along with a snack bag. Laundry Love, that is something that CJ heads up. CJ, raise your hand. CJ is our deacon emeritus, and she leads this group of people. They will have folks come in who can't afford to pay to have their laundry done. And so for free, they can come in and wash their clothes. You know how nice it is to be able to put clean sheets on your bed. Can you imagine if you didn't have the money to wash? And so CJ does that. And then just this past week, or this past month, she also handed out turkeys and food boxes to people who came. And then Serve Day. So this year we did a Rise Against Hunger event. We did 61,200 meals. Those went to Ukraine. And we had 68 plus volunteers. That's a great way for hands-on. Christ Church Fairfield is our partner, and on Serve Day, about 20 of our folks went to Christ Church and helped clean up the grounds. They painted, they did all sorts of stuff. So that's just 4 of our 17 active ministries. Catherine mentioned our habitat build. In the spring, we're going to be doing a habitat build. You will be hearing more about that. We will also have the Gumbo Gala, which is a huge fundraiser for Episcopal Place. That's also going to be a fun volunteer opportunity. Every single one of these ministries is something that is lay-led. I have very little to do with it, I promise you. If I got involved, they might get messed up. I supervise them, but they are lay-led, and these people are passionate about what they do. I inherited this from Catherine, and somebody else did outreach. Becky did outreach. And so all of this is stuff that is lay-led, and so that means all of you guys, you are the ones who are the spoke in the wheel that keep it going. So thank you very much. And I want to say a special thank you to Cindy. Cindy was my Vestry liaison this year for outreach. And she was, I think, one of the very first people that reached out to me when I came on board here. And she took me under her wing, and she made sure I knew everything I needed to know about outreach. And I dearly love her, and I'm going to miss her terribly on Vestry. So thank you, Cindy. I think that's all I need. Okay.
Thank you.
Finding a spot for it. I think that'll work. Good morning, and thank you all. I am so grateful to this community, to John, his leadership, to the Vestry, to all of you who have been so supportive of this vision of the Threshold Center. And before I go any further with that, I want to say I'm so grateful to be a part of such an amazing clergy team. So you all are fabulous, and it's wonderful being in a place that is vibrant and healthy. And so thank you. This dream of the Threshold Center that seed was planted before I ever came to St. Stephen's. It's been watered and it's been nurtured, and it's through the love and care of this community that we're now starting to find this dream come to fruition. And I want to thank Catherine Owens, who's in the back over there. You need to stand up for me, please, who is the founding board chair for the Threshold Center. I have said many times that she was the architect of the building, and then she was the architect of the revisioning 30 years later. So how many times do people get a chance to do this? So folks, this is the great reveal. This is the logo for the Threshold Center. I hope you love it. We love it. It's beautiful. It's simple. It's got a sense of crossing into a threshold of a new place, but a place of hope, a place of something vibrant and alive and new. So this is the direction that we're moving toward with our branding and with our logo. We are really, there's a lot more to say, but this year we went through a lot of work with branding and logo and who are we and what are we. But one simple way to say it is a gathering place that honors all those seeking a flourishing, inspired life. And so we continue to kind of wonder how we live into that. I'm checking my time so I stay on board. Oh, my watch went funny. Anyway, yeah. So we have, I feel like through the leadership of an amazing board, really started off in a wonderful and positive way. And if you look at it, these board members, 5 of them are St. Stephen's members and 4 of them are not. So this is, you all are the foundation of what the Threshold Center is and going to be, but we're also reaching out beyond even the Episcopal Church for ideas and leadership and support. And if you think about it, this group began to meet in August of 2024. That is amazing, how much has been accomplished in that time through this phenomenal leadership. And I just want to take a second and step back. Where have we been? Well, everything that we do, we hope, is in the service of nurturing well-being through the exploration of practices that engage the heart, the body, and the imagination. So when we are looking at what programs to offer or not offer, sometimes amazing programs are offered to us, and we're like, we don't know if it really fits with this mission. So that's the grounding force of what it is. And we have collaborated with Catherine and the educational formational resources here at St. Stephen's too. So we have one foot rooted right here, planted right here at home, and then another foot out into the community. I would say that our growing edge as we move forward would be to actually expand where in the community we are offering programs, who in the community is coming to our programs, but you have to start where you are. And so if you think about this being like a 4 or 5 month old organization, I think we're off with a great start. And your suggestions are always welcome. So this shows, you can see up there, the different programs that we offered. There were a couple of half-day Saturday retreats. The Retreat for Belonging was well received. The Scott Stoner event that we collaborated here with St. Stephen's, over 65 people registered and came. We had spiritual practices for resilience, an 8-week series with different teachers, and our hope was we would have 25 people show up, because we haven't even really had our formal launch yet, and we had 48 people register for that. So not every week were there 48 people in the room, because it was a long series, but we learned a lot. The building is beautiful. It's perfect for what we're trying to do. We just need to do some renovations to make it more perfect, but it's worked out really well. So you can see there's just a different variety of programs that we started off with. I'm going to mention that we have a weekly email, and I've put sign-up sheets in the back. If you want to know about anything that's coming, you need to go through the weekly, you'll hear about it through the weekly email. This is just a little picture of the folks who did the forest bathing on our property. This gives you a sense of how we use the space sometimes. Sometimes it's a big circle, but if you haven't been across the street at St. John's, please come and see me so you can see the space. We've got our launch coming in a couple of months. I mentioned we have some building renovations coming. And then these are the programs that we know are coming in the spring. I forgot to mention that on this list, we'll have a Friday morning Parenting with Art series. So we're hoping to attract some folks with a kind of younger base. But this gives you a sense of where we are. I'm available to anybody who has any questions or thoughts about it. But most of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you all for your incredible support of this program and of me. Thank you very much.
I think sometimes it's easier to simplify things. What is the Threshold Center? It is a retreat center in the heart of Birmingham that is trying to respond to the loneliness epidemic by helping people find meaningful connections. So simplify. If you're wondering, it is a retreat center that is making connection and bringing diverse groups of people together. And we haven't even really launched, and yet it is here and it's doing wonderful work. So thank you, Mary B., for your vision and incredible work. It is part of the reason of having a meeting. We're called to report on the finances of the church. I wanted y'all just to see, this is the graph that's been out. What Ann and I have done is tried to also look at the job responsibilities of the staff. And then, if I think Sally, 20% of her work is outreach, so it helps us to understand where our priorities are. The largest area in our church actually is outreach at 17% of our budget. I think it feels like we are grounded in doing what we are called to do. 10% for youth and children. Obviously, facilities cost a tremendous amount. This is the November kind of the Vestry analysis, what the Vestry sees. Just to give you an idea that our revenue, tithes and offerings, the kind of pledges for this year was about $1.77 million is what people pledged to support St. Stephen's, and about a little over 200,000, 250,000 in plate, which is gifts that come in that have not, that we don't, that are pledged. Where we are with stewardship right now, we have about 240 cards that have been turned in for 1.6 million. So we're about 200,000 shy of where we were last year. That is typical at this time of year. We expect about 50 more pledges hopefully to come in. So I just want to encourage you, if you're one of those that has not turned one in and is planning on, please do so to save me some phone calls at the end of the year. But we got to raise about $200,000 to continue as we are right now. What you can't really see there, we have about $800,000 in savings and checkings in the balance on our balance sheet, which is impressive. I think St. Stephen's is as healthy financially as it's ever been. One of the things that we started to show is the charitable endowment. You can see this is you can see a 3-year average that our total endowment fund has grown to where it is right now at over $2 million, which is I think we had 400,000 in 2018 when I started. So it's been neat to see. So we're the first time we now take an annual distribution that is kind of 25% always goes into CapEx, 50% for in-reach, outreach, and 25% for Vestry designated. It's made on a 3-year rolling average so that we can kind of make sure that we have a conservative approach to handle market downturns. This year there was about a $40,000 distribution, and that allowed us to partially hire Kathleen. Part of what it costs to bring in a parish life coordinator came from that. From the distribution, from the endowment. I recognize that's risky to have a personnel kind of tied up in that, but it seemed necessary to kind of hit our staffing goals. There's a Deacons Fund that was established when CJ retired, that we need to grow that before there's a regular distribution. That will happen actually this year. The Vestry's talked about it. What you don't see in here, there is an exceptionally large bequest from Barbara Ann Beckett Gaines. $100,000 started the Threshold Center. We're going to build a house in her honor next year, a habitat build. We're making a gift to the Diocesan Capital Campaign, and probably about $1 to $1.5 million will go into the endowment as well, which we will get the Deacons Fund up so that it can at least have a distribution. 100% of that goes to outreach. So it's beautiful, but it's a 3-year rolling average. It's really one of the things that's important, if St. Stephen's is your church family, it's important to remember, a portion, once your kids are, if you have children and they're grown and they're successful, you may not want everything to go to your kids. You may think, I want 10% to go to my college and 10% to go to my church, and the kids can figure out the rest. Whatever it is that you, but it's important. That way you can make sure that you're supporting St. Stephen's in perpetuity, and we're getting to a place where that makes a difference, which is beautiful. We're really out of time. What I want to share, I wake up every day kind of wondering how in the world I got so lucky to be at St. Stephen's. I am grateful for my colleagues, for our staff, for the Vestry, the hard work of the Vestry, and the vision of the Vestry. For been a gift to work with you, John, this year, and I'm grateful for your leadership. I feel for the most part we have a lot of the infrastructure. So this year, the kind of words that I've given the staff, if I can get a little help for Jennifer, that would be great. But for the most part, we have an incredibly lucky time where we can do a whole lot. So our focus for the staff is going to be engagement. Several of y'all in this room got emails from me about inviting you to join supper clubs. Just y'all, if you got an email from me, you're on my mind as somebody that might find that meaningful or have something to offer. We're going to have a habitat build. We're starting next week. We're going to have breakfast next week and try something out that I'd like to be able to get to by the middle of next year, where we have cook teams and you can have a breakfast when you're here on Sunday morning. So there's a lot that's happening. But for the most part, it's going to be meeting with y'all and plugging you into new places. Now, the irony is the people at the annual meeting are the ones that are plugged in. So I really need you, if you're watching online and you're like, I want to be more involved at St. Stephen's, I'm coming for you. We've set up a monthly meeting with 3 of the clergy and Kathleen and Gretchen, where we're going to be reviewing the whole church and who's here and making sure that people are engaged and plugged in. We're lucky, we're fortunate. So now we need to kind of connect all the dots so this place can continue to thrive and be the place that it's called to be. We have a service starting in 10 minutes. So I want to thank y'all. And I will, John, do we have an update? Do you account? Yes. Do you want to share who was elected and who's an alternate? So I'm going to do it in the microphone just so it's recorded. Yeah. Or do we have to have a runoff? Yeah.
So congratulations to Connie and Kim.
Okay.
As our
Okay. Mary will be on alternate. Okay. Okay.
Obviously, the alternate's very important
Yep.
because if other members can't serve,
Okay.
she
Okay.
will take their place.
Yep. Okay. All right. A motion to adjourn our meeting. All in favor? Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.